Hello and welcome to episode 99 of Kaiju Curry House, the fortnightly show that gives you a healthy dose of kaiju goodness every other Monday. I'm Paul Williams, joined today by Connor Baxter, and we're going to be running through some of the kaiju goodness that's been happening over the past few weeks or months, just to keep you up to speed with everything that's going on, make sure you don't miss out on anything exciting. And of course, before we get into any of that juicy stuff, Connor, I have to ask you, what have kaiju been up to?
Well, Paul, basically, since I last spoke, I've been doing a bit of reading. Well, I say reading. What I really mean is I've been buying a collection of certain books that I should probably get start reading. So, starters, we have 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which of course has a giant squid in it. I'm sure it's a good book. This is the three of the Pellucidar books, which include At the Earth's Core, Pellucidar, and Tanner of Pellucidar. This is by Edgar Rice Burroughs. Nice. Now, this copy is rather gnarly because this came out in like the 60s, apparently this copy here. But I really do appreciate the actual artwork in the front of the book of this basically inaccurate pterodactyl here. Like,
I mean, it could be anything.
Yeah. You know what? I think I like it. You know, it's like I'm sick of seeing scientifically accurate dinosaurs.
I mean, they were probably just told, "Can you draw a flying monster?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure."
That's true.
That
Plus,
was it.
I think they were either written in the 20s or the 30s. I think those books. I might be wrong, but yeah. And I've been reading this book here, which is very similar to Humanoids from the Deep and the Creature from the Black Lagoon. This is The Slime Beast by Guy Smith. By the way, folks, this book is trash. Do not read it. It's basically it's like a B movie in like 110 pages, pretty much. Also, a side note: the bookmark I'm using is actually a Howl
Nice.
from Beyond the Fog postcard thing, I suppose. Other than that, I have been also doing some model painting as of late, because aside from sculpting, I like to paint model kits. In this case, this is Pegula from the Ultraman series. This is one that I did quite recently, actually. This is like a 20-year-old model kit at this point, but yeah, it's just something to do in the spare time. I painted this up with oil paints, which is it's a harder medium to paint with, but can give you quite effective results. But yeah, and I also painted this little wee tiny Anguirus. Unfortunately, the webcam doesn't do this justice, but
Okay, that's like an inch high. That's dinky.
Mm-hmm.
How do you paint something that small?
Well, you use magnifying goggles for a start, and this is solid lead, by the way. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah. Well, actually, when you're painting this, I stick it onto something so that when I'm painting it, I'm not touching it. But you have to consider as well, this is a heavy chunk of lead. So if this falls off, it's broken. That's it. Goodbye, Anguirus. But yeah, other than that, I've been continuing writing the story that I mentioned in the previous podcast, up to 10 chapters in, and we're getting there at least. Yeah, so we're nearly done with that first draft. So hopefully in the next couple of months, I will have completed that, and we can move on to refining it a bit.
Okay, and is your book going to be some nice trashy pulp like that sea creature, or?
Well, let's just say that probably not.
I'm curious now. How did you come across that book?
How did I come across this book? The author Guy Smith wrote another book called Night of the Crabs, right? Which was what I was looking for originally. It was somewhat kaiju related. It's about giant crabs attacking a little sea town, I believe. I'm not sure because I've never picked up the book myself, but I also spotted this, and just from the cover alone, I'm just
It
like,
drew you in, didn't it? The
yeah,
slime piece. It's just, I mean, it looks like the creature on the Black Lagoon, but just dripping with slime.
it's like Chinese knockoff Creature from the Black Lagoon. Yeah, it's
Yes, that's what it is. But the thing is that of all the books you've mentioned, I'm more interested in that one because I like the sound of a short, trashy book.
oh man, oh yeah. I probably shouldn't read a chapter from it because you want to keep that age rating. But
Oh yeah, I think that's what I want short books because I take ages to read. I do like reading, but I'm such a slow reader and I might forget in the time. So if there's something that's like that and I can just read it like within a couple of nights, that's great.
Mhm. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's the thing as well, is that it's books. Short books are very much like kaiju films. You can put them on, and you can just breeze through them pretty much a lot of the time. But yeah. Anyways, so I better ask you then, Paul, what have kaiju been up to?
Well, I after hearing so many people talk about it, finally got into the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'd watched episode 1. I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool, but I wasn't drawn in, and I thought I don't know what to watch because I finished a show recently, and I stuck it on episode 2, and that I got engrossed, and that's it. So then I pretty much binged over the next 2 or 3 days. I watched the whole series, and I know it's not really, apart from that creature in the first episode, there's not really any monsters until the final episode.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like I was watching a monster movie for oh, this is fantastic. It was so much fun.
I will say the first creature this you see, I really do appreciate the design because it's very reminiscent of
It's a very Harryhausen
yeah,
Kraken, isn't it?
Kraken Ymir sort of design.
Yeah.
But the Rancor bit in the spoilers, um, that bit that bit in Boba Fett is if you like your 1930s King Kong stuff, you're gonna like that last episode. So
That's it. I mean, so even if you don't really care about Boba Fett, but you like monster movies, check out that final episode
oh yeah, definitely.
because it's so much fun. And thing is, I really like the Mandalorian, but I wasn't that into Boba Fett, and then it kind of became the Boba Fett / the Mandalorian, and I was like, hey, I like this now.
Yeah, I will say that was something that did kind of gripe me a bit, that it wasn't really a Boba Fett show in the end.
It's like he couldn't carry himself, but you think, hang on, it's Boba Fett. He should be able to carry a series.
Yeah, but hey ho. But
yeah, so watch episode. Is it 6? There's only 6 episodes, I think, isn't there? Was there 9?
I can't remember.
Watch the final episode of the Book of Boba Fett. You won't be disappointed. I also watched, and I know you did too, because I saw it in Messenger, Detective Pikachu.
Oh yes, I did. Yeah,
because I've been playing a bit of Pokemon Go, and Joe was like, "Oh, go on, put it on. The kids will love it. Kids will love it. You got to watch it." And the kids kind of liked it. They liked bits of it. I think I enjoyed it more than they did. I think it's because I like Ryan Reynolds, and it's just so much fun. But yeah, awesome to see the Pokemon, real Pokemon in the real world, and the battles, especially that cage battle with the Charizard dragon and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, it's good action, good fun, good adventure. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Wish I watched it sooner. What did you think to it, Connor?
I'm amazed that they actually managed to pull off making the Pokemon realistic, right? Considering if you look at the designs in the games, they're very cartoony and anime-esque, or manga-esque even. And it was almost like as someone who did play the games back in the day, I do appreciate trying to spot how many Pokemon I can recognize that are just in the background, like the artistry of the. It's actually kind of impressive, like how many Pokemon they actually managed to fit into into the movie at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Granted, the plot line is kind of simple. I'll just say that.
It's easy watching, which is
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, but yeah, it is a fun romp, and the characters are very likable. I'd say, like you said, Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu. You would never think it would fit, but it does. Like I remember when they announced it, there was the petition for Danny DeVito to voice Pikachu.
No.
In the film. Yeah, and Danny DeVito himself was interviewed about this, and apparently he had no idea what Pikachu was. Of course, that's not the words he said, but we're trying to keep this episode PG. Yeah, so yeah, if you haven't seen Detective Pikachu, folks, go watch it. It's fun.
Yeah, it is really, really enjoyable. Other than that, I've been playing Fall Guys, which for anyone who doesn't know, it's kind of like an obstacle course game where you've got up to 60 players in solos or as groups of 4 trying to get from start to finish, but there's lots of obstacles and ways, such as holes and like swinging hammers to knock you about. But I know that's nothing kaiju related at all, but on the season pass, right at the very end, so I believe it's level 97 and 99, you can unlock a Mecha Godzilla costume for your characters to wear.
Really?
So it's great because the characters, they're called beans, and they just look like they're like little baked beans with arms and legs, and they wear costumes. And so it's great to see it's a little man in a Godzilla costume running. It's not the American one, it's the original. They've somehow got the rights from Toho, and they've made it at the very end of the battle pass. You've got to play a fair bit to get it. And so I've been playing each day to try and unlock this costume. I'm nearly there. But the fact that they put that right at the end makes you think, wow, they must have a lot of either the developers love Toho Godzilla, or they think there's a big demand for it. And I can't see a lot of people really being into Toho Godzilla, but they've put it in there. And just now, just yesterday, ending on Monday when this episode releases, so if you're listening, go to the store now. They've got 2 Godzilla bundles where you can get a costume of Burning Godzilla, or the just original Godzilla, and also King Ghidorah and Mothra.
Oh wow!
And again, all the original Toho designs are now available to buy for just like 5 days only. So there's a lot of Godzilla love in this game, even though it's nothing to do with kaiju. But I really appreciate it.
It just goes to show how cheap Activision was for that Call of Duty mod. They couldn't even get the rest of the monsters.
Yeah, I don't think there's been King Kong in this, and it's not legendary Godzilla, so maybe it's different for them.
It could be different licenses, perhaps.
But it's not like Toho. Toho are normally quite protective, so I was really surprised to see them lend their design to such a goofy game. Unless it's really big in Japan, which it could be for all I know, but it's made in America. It's Epic Games.
It wouldn't surprise me because it's very much reminiscent of Takeshi's Castle.
Yes, yes, it is.
Now, for our American viewers, Takeshi's Castle was called Extreme Elimination Challenge in America, where they basically completely re-edited it and changed the games a bit to make it like a different game show altogether. But anyways, it's funny that you mentioned that because Takeshi's Castle actually features a lot of Godzilla music in it. Like I actually like to binge watch Takeshi's Castle when I'm doing like work in the background, right? And not only is there Godzilla music in it, but occasionally you will get Ultraman monsters appear in it.
The actual monsters.
Yep, as there's a whole episode of Takeshi's Castle where it's just Ultraman monsters competing to take over the castle. And keep in mind, Craig Charles is narrating over the top of this, so he's just coming out of all these nicknames for all these like creatures. It's like I think he calls one "Is Godzilla's son" or something like that. So yeah.
Oh wow. So was that just a special one-off Ultraman themed episode then?
No, they're in a couple of episodes.
Okay. I'm going to have to find that on YouTube.
Oh man, I'll send you the link later. I'll just
Yeah, absolutely. I'll put it in the description of the episode for anyone who's curious.
Oh man, God. We should have done this episode as Takeshi's Castle. Oh my God.
I had no idea there was so much kaiju love in that. I just remember the name and perhaps a few episodes of seeing people. I think there was like boxing gloves coming out of a wall that they were trying to go along. I thought, yeah, this is stupid fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's you'll definitely hear the Godzilla music when there's the high rollers. That's the one for the trying to run over the giant sort of like rolling pins, I suppose, to get to the other side. And it's playing like the Monster Zero march. So
it baffles me how Toho is so protective of some things and then just put it out in others.
Which, oh man. But anyways, speaking of Toho being very protective, I guess we're going to move on to our first subject, which is...
actually, no, before we do, I have a question from Kaiju Conversations.
Oh, we do?
So we do. I've had a question. Joe's probably got some, but he is indisposed at the moment. So we'll just go with the one that I've had written in. Yeah. So Carrie has written in and said, you previously mentioned Bollywood movies we might not know about. And they said, what are your favorite non-main, so like UK, Japanese, American monster movies that we could suggest? So are there any other regional monster movies that you can think of? I know Alex would say Troll Hunter, which I'm pretty sure is Swedish. Well, no, Norwegian. Mm-hmm. But he's obviously not here.
I would say two films come to mind: Gorgo and The Host.
I would definitely recommend The Host. That's Korean, wasn't it?
Yeah, The Host was a South Korean film. It's really good. It's I can't remember the director's name, but he directed Parasite, which is not a kaiju film, but it's still a really good film.
Very good film.
Yeah. And like I mentioned before, Gorgo is like the quintessential British monster movie. I mean, you could go with Conga, but Conga's a bit poopy. I'll just say that. Fun fact about that suit in Conga. That suit has been reused in so many like schlocky like B-movie films. Like,
is it? Oh no.
Yeah. One of them starring Raymond Burr, who of course was. This was, I think, this might have been his first film before Godzilla. I might be wrong about this, but I think it's. I can't remember what it's called, but so that suit has been in use since the 50s. It's also the suit used in Robot Monster. If anyone's ever seen that one, it's a really bad 50s movie where it's like a guy in a gorilla costume, but he's wearing like a
space helmet.
A space helmet. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so Conga is in this. Oh dear, is in that film. So.
Okay, and there was another Korean film called Dragon Wars or D War.
Mm-hmm.
That I remember seeing that and just thinking, wow, it had such a big budget at the time, and there's just loads of monsters spilling out into the streets, and it looked fantastic 15 years ago. I don't know how it looks now. But it was simple. It was fun. Have you seen that one or heard of that one?
I've seen Dragon Wars before.
Oh, you have seen it? Okay.
Yeah. Years ago, it was like maybe 12, 13 when I saw it. But it was, oh man. Yeah.
I remember it being a great popcorn flick.
It's a very memorable film, he says sarcastically. But funny you mention that. The director of Dragon Wars also did a remake of another South Korean film that we're on the topic. A very infamous South Korean film called Young Gary. So basically, during the 90s, Godzilla 98 comes out, right? Mm. And this guy has the genius idea to basically compete with it, right?
Okay.
So he decides to resurrect Young Gary, right? Which was a movie from the 1960s, which of course was a ripoff of Godzilla, where they end up defeating the monster by spraying with itching powder. So,
what a plan.
And the monster poops himself at the end. I'm not even joking. You need to watch it. But it's also like a case of basically poor film preservation, because when they sent it over to America to get dubbed, they accidentally sent the master copy of Young Gary. So basically, the original South Korean copy of Young Gary is lost. So only like the American dub exists today.
It's amazing how that happens.
Yeah, but anyway, back on topic. So they decide to remake Young Gary to compete with Godzilla 98. Now, of course, despite Godzilla 98 being a very controversial movie, it was very successful. The Young Gary remake at the time was the most expensive South Korean film ever made at that time.
Oh, really? Okay.
And it also bombed badly at the box office.
Was it released the same time? I seem to remember like a Young Gary 2000 or something. It might have had different titles.
That is the movie, yeah.
There's one, okay.
So Young Gary 2000's one title. In the US, it was released as Reptilian for some reason, even though they call him Young Gary in the movie.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's just, if they can do it with Toho films, they can there's a plane. Oh dear. We're a very professional podcast, but so I forgot what I was saying. It's called Reptilian in the US, and they had suits, believe it or not. So they used people in suits to begin with, right? And there's behind the scenes footage of them showing them using the suits. Somewhere down the line, they completely scrapped this idea and replaced all the monsters with CGI monsters, right? Okay. And you have to bear in mind the South Korean budget in the late 90s compared to a Hollywood movie. It's not good. It's so bad that they released it twice with different CGI, and the original cut of that film, which has the first pass of CGI, has not been released again. So, and the second pass of CGI is just as bad. It's not any better at all. So, yeah, you can find it on YouTube probably, but Young Gary, both the original and the remake are cult classics. I'll just say that.
I mean, you think they'd release it a third time, but just with the men in suits. Just you might as well make use of them if you made the suits.
People complain about George Lucas editing Star Wars, but I think if any film deserves it, Young Gary that needs its due. But yeah.
Oh, that's fair enough. Right. Okay, let's take a quick break, and then we'll get into the news.
Welcome back to Kaiju Curry House. This is episode 99. I'm Connor. That's Paul. And let's talk a little bit about some recent news, Paul. I believe there's some more rumblings about a certain Monsterverse show that's coming out.
Yeah, so Apple TV's Godzilla show, would you say it's called Monarch, isn't it?
I believe it's the working title at the moment, but I've just been personally just calling it the Godzilla show as of late. But
okay, the Godzilla show, that works.
Yeah.
Actually, no, sorry. It's the working title is Hourglass.
Ah, that's interesting.
Whatever that precludes to, I do not know, but that is the working title. Currently filming in Vancouver.
Yeah, it's so it's been in the news recently because a couple of things, of course. There's been on-set photos that have been leaked as of late. Well, I wouldn't say leaked. They're probably just taken from like bystanders just taking photographs from afar, perhaps.
Yeah, I've seen a few photos leaked, and they weren't very impressive, and they are from a distance. So it is probably someone just walking past, getting a quick snap.
I'm sorry to say, folks, but Godzilla was not seen on set that day. So, But I'm very, very curious how this is going to go, because they announced, like, this was rumored beforehand, like it was speculated, but it turns out it's true that Kurt Russell from many of John Carpenter's films, including The Thing, Escape from New York, Big Trouble in Little Chinatown, will be starring in it as probably one of the main characters.
Yeah, I'd like to think so.
Yeah, as long as it's not like a case of like where they promoted Godzilla 2014 and there's Bryan Cranston all over the advertising. It's like, oh, he's only in it for 10 minutes. Oh, that's a shame.
No.
But yeah, I am very excited because of this news. I believe his son Wyatt is also starring in it as well. Oh no, maybe it is like a.
Oh no,
it's like 2014.
No,
like...
don't say that. Oh, I mean, are they actually going to play father and son in the series? Do we know, or is it just coincidence they've both been cast?
As far as we know, news-wise, it's only just been announced that they're in the show. I don't know if they're playing father and son or not, but let's not jinx it. Yeah,
that's pretty cool news.
It does make me wonder, though, if this show is actually going to feature Godzilla a lot, or if it's going to be focusing on maybe original kaiju. Because as much as I do like seeing Godzilla, like there's always room for more original stuff, I guess. You know, like it can get tiring from time to time seeing the same kaiju over and over again. So let's just hope that we get more of the one scene in, say, King of the Monsters at the end, because of course we had like stuff like Behemoth, which was like the mammoth kaiju, which that one in particular has become very popular. You know, like for good reason. I mean, there's an original kaiju design. You know, it's like aside from Kong, you rarely get any mammalian kaiju if you think about it.
Well, I saw this news article about him coming on to the show on the website IGN. I normally listen to their podcasts, and I saw a couple from their show. So I'll just quickly steal from their website. So credit to IGN for this. But they've said that Apple's new Godzilla series is part of Legendary's growing MonsterVerse franchise, and the show will explore the aftermath of the battle between Godzilla and the Titans that leveled San Francisco, and the shocking new reality that monsters are real, as one family sets out to uncover its buried secrets and a legacy linking them to the secret organization known as Monarch. So I'm going to say there aren't going to be many monsters in it, and it's going to be focusing on a family and finding out about this secret organization and how their relatives are probably the founders or something like that. And then maybe there'll be some flashbacks to show monsters, but I don't think they're going to have. It's a TV series. They're probably not going to throw a massive amount of money at special effects, apart from perhaps the pilot and then the final episode. I don't think there'll be many kaiju in this show. But that's just my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, if it's being made by Apple, they probably would have the budget.
But Apple have the money, but I don't know if they'll give it to them.
Well, that's true. Yeah. What else? In other news, we've recently got a trailer for a Western release for Shin Ultraman, which came out a couple of days ago. Yep. So it is subtitled. So it doesn't look like we have a dub yet. And currently at the moment, the trailer is for film festivals. But I am suspecting that it will be getting a wider release, whether or not it will be a physical release, a theatrical release, or a streaming release. But either way, it is very exciting news, I believe. No, not that I believe. You know, it's very exciting news to me, I guess.
Well, we got Shin Godzilla at cinemas in the UK, so there's hope that it might come for a limited release in select cinemas. But if not, I would have thought it would be picked up for a streaming release.
Oh, that's giving me some slight PTSD flashbacks there, like because I remember seeing Shin Godzilla advertised in the UK, and I'm thinking, this looks great. I'll go see it. And then I was working that day, so unfortunately, it was a one-night screening as well. So I completely missed Shin Godzilla. So hopefully, if when Ultraman comes around, we will, or I would at least be able to catch it at least.
Well, I saw Shin Godzilla on the one day it was meant to show, but then they extended it.
Mm-hmm.
At least I remember them saying it was extended for at least a day or two more.
I think it might depend on like where you're situated as well.
That's it. Like London probably had it on for a week, but if you go somewhere smaller, then they're not going to be showing because there's just not the audience there.
Yeah, definitely, especially in like in the northeast of Scotland and Aberdeen, at least. It's just you'd be lucky to even find someone who knows what a Godzilla is. Well,
yeah. No, I know what you mean there.
Okay. Another news that
I was just to say, G-Fest happened.
Yes,
over in the States. Unfortunately, that's a bit far for us to go. I imagine the flights and the hotel would cost a small fortune, and that we'd have nothing left to spend on merchandise. Probably wouldn't be able to afford the flights, to be honest with you. But hey ho, it's a dream to go. Until then, we'll just have to hope that there's a UK one. Nod, wink, wink, wink. Put on in the not too distant future. Now, I didn't see a massive amount of what was released there, but I did hear that there were 3 trailers shown for some upcoming kaiju films. I think they're exclusive trailers, so I haven't found them online anywhere. It's probably like where they show them at Comic-Con, and they might get released later on. But they have The Lake, which there is a trailer available for online. This might just be perhaps they showed a clip or something, but The Lake's meant to be quite a big budget monster film coming out. It's a Thai and Chinese co-production. It's meant to be pretty big budget, and they've got the artist Jordu Shell is pronounced, I think, who did Cloverfield and The Thing and The Mist and Starship Troopers. So it's the monster should look pretty cool, and it's using practical effects as well. So that it'd be nice to see how they pull it off, but it's going to be like life-sized animatronics and CGI, so it's like a good mix, and I'm just hoping it delivers.
There is like quite a lot of like giant monster films coming out of China as of late, I've noticed as well. Forgive me that it is hard to keep track with some of them, but there's definitely like a couple of like sea monster stuff that has came out as of late.
Okay.
Other than that,
the other trailers they had at G-Fest were something called Bloodspawn, which doesn't sound like a very pleasant thing, but that I think it might be an American film because it has a website of www.bloodspawnmovie.com. So it suggests it's an American film. It's set in the 1800s, and what did I say on the website? A small group of misfits find themselves trapped and surrounded by evil, ravenous creatures of folklore. There's people must put their differences aside to battle these ancient monsters, and it's apparently a folk horror going for a grindhouse style creature feature of the 70s and 80s, made of a healthy dose of practical effects, miniatures, rather than CGI. So again, this is hopefully something to look forward to. It might not be. Don't know.
Can never go wrong with practical effects stuff.
I'm pretty sure you can. But
well, that's true. Well, then again, it could go both ways. You've got bad CGI and you've got good.
Well, that's it. You've got legendary Godzilla, and then you've got Reptilian. Just as so it can go either way. And there was one other film that I can't find any information about online that was announced at G-Fest, and it's just called Kaiju. Now you can Google Kaiju, and that film doesn't this has not come up, so they're going to have trouble advertising it. But I just saw a poster and it says Kaiju and it's got a picture of the creature. The creature looks pretty cool. So that's 3 hopeful movies that have just been shown off at G-Fest, and hopefully we'll be able to find the trailers or find some information and share it either here later on the podcast or on the UK Kaiju website, or even our YouTube channel. If we can get a copy, that'd be awesome.
Mhm.
But yeah, more as that develops.
Yeah, I'd imagine these would get either digital releases or physical releases at some point as well.
Well, that's it. I mean, like the Fog, that got an American physical release, and then we were able to import it. So that's quite a niche. I mean, it's a monster movie, and it's made with like puppets and stuff. So it's not mainstream at all, but it's still managed to get a physical release. So if these films are decent, then I imagine there'll be enough of an audience that would warrant a release.
That's
if they're not decent, then they'll probably end up on YouTube, and we just wouldn't worry about watching them anyway.
For those who actually want to watch Howl from Beyond the Fog, you can get it off of SRS Cinema, where they have like a huge collection of various different independent kaiju films, including Monster Seafood Wars. I can't remember what it's called.
They do have an absolute ton on there. They had those Rhaegar and Rhaegu, like God of the Sea and things, wasn't there? Like a whole trilogy of them. There's lots of stuff on there, and it's not badly priced either. It's like, I mean, sometimes they have sales when they're as cheap as like $8. It's just the shipping that gets you, because it's international.
I will say that just bear in mind that these are not like your big budget kaiju films at all. No. Especially the Rhaegar films, which decrease the budget in these films, and it shows.
I haven't seen any of them yet. I've been curious enough. The artwork looks amazing. The trailers look quite so I'm wondering what the final product is.
The first film, Rhaegar, I think it's Rhaegar. I might be wrong. Rhaegar is set during the Second World War, and it's about a battleship. I believe it's called the Yamato, I believe. And it's basically
familiar, yeah.
Yeah, and it's basically this Japanese warship fighting this kaiju in the sea, pretty much. The sequels, Rhaegar and I think it's Rhaegar versus Ilga. They're more slapstick stuff, and they sort of like make fun of the kaiju genre. There's even like a very funny moment where there's an American tourist that sees Rhaegar and points and say, "Look, it's Godzilla," and a bunch of Japanese guys going, "No, no, 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 no." But
oh wow, they're really wrong with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And okay. I believe the third film was made for G-Fest,
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's also the cheapest one of the lot. So
okay. Well, I'll see if that, I mean, Amazon Prime has some amazingly cheap films, so it could be on there. I know they have really cheap horror films. I'm just like, I can't believe they've actually bought the rights to show this.
Yeah, there was one film in particular on Amazon Prime. I can't remember what it's called. It has Sean Astin in it, right? It's like a bunch of like metalheads in the desert, right? And they're trying to get to a gig, I believe, right?
Okay.
And they're being pursued by giant ants.
Fantastic.
Giant CGI ants, which spoiler alert, Sean Astin gets dispatched in the first 15 minutes. So
oh
god.
Oh, that's disappointing to hear.
Yeah. So it's like we either spend all our budget on this one actor or we do on the ants. Which it turns out the frequency of the musical instruments kills the ants. So
oh really? Oh
yeah.
Well, at least I know how to defeat them if that ever happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Let's take our final break, and then we'll return with some, if nothing else. Hello and welcome back to the third and final part of Kaiju Curry House. This is episode 99. I'm Paul. We've got Connor and just a few more bits of news bites before we get on to If Nothing Else. So I don't know if there's any pinball fans out there, but Stern Pinball is releasing a Godzilla pinball machine. Now, I've always thought a pinball machine would be pretty cool to have, and then I see the price tag. And this Godzilla pinball machine, there's 3 different models. The basic model will set you back 7,000, with the premium one setting you back just over 10,000. That's US dollars. So if you love pinball and you love Godzilla and you have that kind of money to throw away, head on over to sternpinball.com and get yours on order. I've never really got into pinball apart from playing little bits on probably, I don't know, on a games console somewhere, but I didn't realize they had storylines. And so according to the website, there is an adventure where you play as Godzilla. Aliens are using mind control rays to take control of King Ghidorah, Gigan, Megalon, Ebra, and Titanosaurus. So, I mean, Joe and Alex, you're not here, but we're talking about Titanosaurus and Megalon. These aren't the usual ones you'd go for, but that's who the pinball's throwing out there. And you get to team up with Mothra, Rodan, and Anguirus to battle the aliens. It sounds absolutely fantastic, doesn't it? I don't know how you do this. You're hitting a metal ball, and you hit flaps, and I guess that knocks them. I don't know. But if you go to the website, there's a ton of like making of videos and artwork. So hey, if you like pinball, go to sternpinball.com, search for Godzilla, and knock yourself out. I'm not going to buy at that price, but I'm fascinated by it, and I'm going to watch some of the videos.
I believe that there's actually a video screen that's actually attached to the pinball machine as well. So when you're playing it, I believe it plays clips, I think. I might be wrong.
That's awesome. I've heard about that on pachinko machines in Japan, where so they'll have stuff shot just for that game, where there is like so if you get a certain score, then something will happen, a video will play. It's amazing they do that stuff in,
There was one Godzilla one in particular where it was made in like I think 2008 or something, where they reused a lot of the Millennium suits for this one particular pachinko machine. Like they used like the Final War suits for Gigan and Anguirus in the thing, but strangely enough, they used the Godzilla 2000 suit to represent Godzilla, and he shoots a blue atomic breath in that, which, of course, if you watch the Godzilla 2000, it's an orange one, but
they can mix and match.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's like watching a Godzilla film that never existed. If you can watch the clips online, but but in other news, the mobile phone game Godzilla Battle Line has a new update that's coming to it. So they've decided to update with 3 new playable characters, I believe. And it's very interesting. So we have Shin Godzilla, which is a very interesting choice, perhaps. Well, not interesting. I mean, it's Shin Godzilla. It's everywhere. Destroyer, okay, fair enough. The third one's my favorite, and I couldn't believe it when I saw it. It's the giant octopus from King Kong versus Godzilla, and
wow,
the shock and awe when I saw this was amazing. And they
People
actually
have been screaming out for this character for so long.
I believe it's a Shinji Nishikawa drawing that they're using to promote it as well. So we've got all these made up kaiju, and then we've just got this realistic octopus in the back. Oh man, it's like you too can play AG Subaraya's Lunch. But
that's great, absolutely great.
Oh man. Listen, if the next update doesn't have giant condor, we riot. So yeah. Where's my giant condor versus octopus movie?
Go on, start like a trend. Go on, hashtag giant condor.
Yep. Go. Listen, Joe, that's where your money's at. Anyways.
Right. I think we've run through all the news since we last spoke. So, Connor, if nothing else.
If nothing else, read a book. Just don't buy as many books as me. Just read the books. Paul, if nothing else.
If nothing else, I'm going to say go play Fall Guys if you can, because it's been a lot of fun, and you don't want to miss out on this Mecha Godzilla skin if you like that. I will say I saw on the UK Kaiju fans Facebook page that there is a Kaiju weekend coming to Berlin. So, to any of our listeners in that region, Kaiju weekend Berlin is happening on the 12th and 13th of November. So just a shout out there, go onto our website or Google it and see if that's something that you'd like to attend. As we mentioned, G-Fest happened, which we couldn't attend. I know Matt Frank was there, and also Kaiju Kim. And we've had them both on the show, but Kaiju Kim's done some vlogging while she was on there. So if you go to YouTube, you can see some of her videos of day 1, day 2 at the show, which just be cool to see what it's like. And they're only 10 minutes long, and it just gives you a feel for what it'd be like to be at the show. So yeah, so they're my recommendations, which just hope to keep you going until we come back for episode 100.
Ooh.
100 in just 2 weeks' time. And keep your eyes peeled to the UK Kaiju and Kaiju Curry House Facebook groups, because we should be putting something up shortly for episode 100 to get you guys involved and hopefully have a little competition so you can get some merch. Fingers crossed. But as always, thanks for listening, everyone. And until next time, keep it Kaiju.